Could you just talk about why you're here and what's going on
today?
Well,
the war is illegal. It was against the Charter of the United Nations, to which we're committed. It was immoral. Over 1 million Iraqis have died, and unwinnable. And we're here to ask MPs to vote to withdraw British troops immediately from Iraq and Afghanistan, not attack Iran, and that's what we're about. And, in a democratic country, you ought to be able to see your own MP.
How come there's this ban on freedom of speech?
Well, I'm told the police have capitulated, and I'm not surprised. How do you arrest people on their way to see their MP? You can't do it.
We're here because we are democracy. This is what democracy looks like. 80%, over 80% of Britain was opposed to that war, and yet our elected representatives ignored us.
Mr. Brown may think Basra is a photo opportunity. We know it's a graveyard of 1 million Iraqis and millions more whose lives have been ruined by the criminals in the British Parliament and in the United States government. And we tremble with indignation. All right.
Mr. Brown, abandon US discourse of we want to liberate you, but we have to bomb you first. If you don't believe in us, if you don't believe in the Archbishop, if you don't believe of millions of British and around the world, listen to your wife. She would want the same things that she wants for her children, for the children of the Middle East.
Gordon Brown says every child is precious. Indeed they are. So we have to stop killing them. Okay? It's up to you. It's up to me. Wake up the country. It has to stop now.
It's time for this country to break with the Project for a New American Century. The American people have already broken with that policy. 2 decisions of both the Congress and the Senate, the House and the Senate, have called for the troops out. Only a presidential veto keeps them there. I want to see all the troops out now. The people of Iraq and the people of Afghanistan able to decide their own future, not at the point of guns provided by the West. Stick with it. Campaign for justice. Bring the troops out.
And during the war, my brother was killed, and many of my mates were killed. And when I came home to troop ship in the summer of 1945, I heard the words of the Charter of the United Nations. What it said was, we the peoples of the United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war which twice in our lifetime has caused untold suffering to mankind. And that is what I believe in. And when we went to war for oil, which is what it was about, we tore up the Charter of the United Nations. It was an illegal war, an immoral war, and it's an unwinnable war. And we have to see that it stops, and it stops now. Now,
get the troops out now! Get the troops out now! Get the troops
out now! Get the troops out now! Get the troops out now! Get the troops out now!
We're asserting people's right to stop terror war in Afghanistan and Iraq. You don't win hearts and minds by carpet bombing. You don't win people to your side by occupying their country.
10% of everybody's taxes pays for this war. We pay for it. That's our part of the deal about living in a democracy. If you don't like the war, then it's your duty, it's your obligation to get up and do something about it.
Do you know what they're doing? They're keeping the masses suppressed with drugs, sex and TV. In the meantime, children die over barrels of oil. It's despicable.
Democracy, which is theoretically what you have, be put into practice. And real democracy, since about 80% of people are calling for withdrawal, then it's very clear that if you abide by the will of the people, otherwise democracy has different meaning. I mean, you can go to the etymology of the word for the Greek, and it means, the rule of the people.
This is something that the majority of the country doesn't believe in, doesn't want. We're paying for it, so we do have a right to say whether we go to war or not.
Lots of old people were in the last World War. I was one of them, and we struggled through the war. Lots of people died through the war. And after the war, they said no more wars. And ever since I've finished with the army myself, there's always been a war.
And if anybody attacks this country and we fight back, what we will call terrorists, same applies to them.
I think it's important that we all came here today because who else is doing it, you know? Everybody's going on about their lives, and okay, we all might have to go back to work tomorrow, but it's important that we were here today.
Well, I believe that we should experiment and find a way that we can find a way to make society truly egalitarian.
How do you think that the day went today?
I think it's gone very, very well indeed. We were told we couldn't march. We were told the march was banned. And it turned out that in the end the police had to give in. And we feel that the demonstrators who turned up from all around the country, I think, have been very, very happy with the day. We did get to Parliament. We did make our voices heard. And that was what the intention of the demonstration was. Truth is that we've had 6 years now of the war on terror. That's an incredibly long time for any movement. I'm very grateful for everybody who's come. I think the Stop the War Coalition is a very important movement. And I think if we want to fight for a world based on peace and justice, we need more of these movements, not less.